Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Conversations with our multi authors. And today I have my friend Diane with us, and she's going to share her story of why she wanted to join. But before we go there, I just wanted to remind everybody yes, there is still time to join us. There is still chapters that is waiting for your stories. And also, once you do decide to join in, there is an entire community that will support you of aspiring authors and established authors. And then our amazing writing coach and CEO and founder of Leasley Publishing, Kristen Bentley, is going to help guide all of us through the sentence structures, the editing, the process of writing our beautiful chapter. So just know you're not in it alone. You're not just signing up and then it's like, oh, that's it. Now I got to write. No, there's a lot of support that comes with it. So, Diane, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be part of a collab book.
Yay. So, tell me, how did you decide that this is something you wanted to do?
Honestly, I didn't even know I wanted to be part of a collab book at first. I just knew I wanted to be writing some book. And I knew it took a lot to get involved in writing a book. So I was like, you know what? Let me slowly introduce myself to the world in a multi author book. That way, most of
Mm.
the burden wouldn't be on me or the pressure to meet certain deadlines, certain chapter amounts, and things like that. So a collab book was perfect for me to even just get my feet wet into the whole author world. And I'm so grateful to even be invited on a platform like this because I will be in a book with many female entrepreneurs that's going to tell their story.
That's amazing. So, is it something that, so it sounds like you've been wanting to kind of share your story and put together something. Um, is writing a book, has it always been in your thought process, or is it just more recently that you've thought, oh, it's time to share my story?
I've actually always wanted to write a book. I used to be a creative when I was younger. I used to write poetry a lot. And then I
Oh,
stopped. And then I was like, well, as I got older and start having different types of experiences, different things that I've seen or learned about, and I wanted to kind of give my spill on things. That's what really got me back into the mojo of wanting to write. And my daughter, she's actually written several couple of things before, and I keep trying to get her to write a book. So I'm like, you know what? Let me lead by example and actually get published first so that she can see what all it'll take and why it's important to get out there into the world and tell your side, tell your story.
Mommy,
oh. Hey
Mom,
there, bud.
Mommy,
Yes, Lynn.
the hoop is small.
Okay, we'll play with it in a moment. Thank you.
And that,
Sorry.
and see, that is right there something we can all share and understand and relate to is as we're, running our businesses, being part of a larger scale of space, and we still have our regular lives, being a mom and all of the fun things that come with living out life, right?
Yes.
So, is your did you know what you wanted your chapter to be on, or was it like a process where you just started writing and then you kind of knew what you were going to write about?
It actually is a process. The first original version I wrote, and mind you, I kind of did my chapter in one night. Um, but
Oh,
but the first
3,000
time I wrote
words.
it, I know the first time I wrote it, I changed everything about how I written it. The second time I actually wrote it, but you do have to put pen and pad together to really formulate your thoughts, what you want to speak about, talk about, focusing on who you're speaking to, and then how you want to present that to the world. Because again, this is going to be read by many people for years to come, even after you're gone. And that's really
Yeah.
why I wanted to do something like this is to leave something behind, leave some type of footprint. And
Mm,
it actually inspires me to do more writing. I actually want to do another book. An idea just literally came up to me one night and was like, hey, do a book about this. I was like, you know what? I want to put that into the world and make it come to fruition and definitely write that book as well. So it inspires me to do more and more writing.
Yay. And so did you enjoy the creative flow of discovering your story? Or
I did.
was it a struggle? Because some of the authors are like, oh my gosh, they can't get past 1,000 words and for you, how did you find that process?
I'm naturally a talker. I think that helps. But it was a struggle to meet a certain word count, if you will. It was hard to keep
Mm.
it at that lower count because after I wrote it, I was like, oh my God, I got to cut out some words. And so picking and choosing what to cut out was, I think, more tougher than it was to actually write it.
Oh,
So I'm actually the
interesting.
opposite. I wrote too many words. I was like, oh, this is almost chapter two. So, but
Oh.
again, I had to put pen and pad together and then um, really organize it. Whether you start from an outline or whether you start from brainstorming, then putting it into an outline and then really putting your supporting sentences under it. I literally took it to remedial English, if you would, on how you would write.
Mm.
And that's how I started creating my story. And I have ton of experience with different types of things, so it was tough, really, just choosing one thing to talk about without bringing up
Mm.
something else. And I was like, wait a minute, my scope is this, so why am I talking about that? But again, you have to put pen and pad together to know that you're even doing that kind of thought process to say, okay, how can I tweak this? Do I need to remove anything? Do I need to add anything? Do I want to talk in first person? Do I want to talk in third person? Um,
Mm.
so all of that kind of comes into play. But I think there was a saying or something of the sort that talks about how you really have to write it down for it to really stick.
Yeah.
And that's what I had to do. And whether you're typing it, but writing it is really what makes it stick, is writing it out versus typing it out. It's a very distinct difference.
And so, like, that's on your own. How have you felt about the community that has been a part of, with the aspiring authors, and then the guidance of, like you said, sometimes when we get to writing, we just think, oh my gosh, there's all kinds of different stories we want to tell. Through guidance, how did you feel about that support in terms of narrowing down what story you wanted to tell?
Honestly, having a community of individuals that are creatives as well, that have their story to tell, helps a lot, because then you can get a perspective on how they kind of do their thought processing or what they talk
Mm.
about and what they share. And it's like, well, wait a minute, I can either piggyback off of that or I can come up with how my experience was, because it could be a very different type of experience. And you want to share
Mhm.
that to kind of correlate to what they're sharing, and then that's kind
Mhm.
of what formulates kind of like the process of the book. It really
Right.
flows, because now you see, oh well, you have this person with this type of background, you have this person with another type of background, and they have two totally different experiences, yet the same subject matter, if you will. So it
Right.
helps to talk it out with other creatives, other authors, to see how they come up with their ideas, and then they can actually kind of help you or even provide feedback on what you should write about, because sometimes having someone else hear your story helps you to really put your thoughts together on paper. So having being a
Right.
part of a community is extremely beneficial.
That's awesome. I agree with you. I feel like it's like anything, right? Because when you're stuck in your own mind, all you're seeing is what you think and not seeing it from a different perspective. So then it really helps formulate a better, like, more powerful version of the story, because they're the ones that are ultimately going to read it, right? The people who aren't not personally involved in the story, and so they want to
Exactly.
know how much more in depth it is. So for Anyone out there who's been thinking about, oh man, I want to tell a story too, or I want to do this, what would your best advice for them to move forward and jumping in
Start
their
writing.
multi-author book?
Just start putting pen to pad or typing it, whatever, and just putting away, and then start networking with other authors to see how you can really get it out there to from print to finish, like into stores and have other people reading it. Because just saying you want to do it versus actually putting it on paper and actually
Hmm.
doing it is really the majority of the battle. Once you get past that hump,
Right,
then all it's about is, okay, how it's going to get published. Do I need to have
right,
artwork or anything like that, illustrations? That comes later. Really, the hard part is the writing, just putting the materials
right.
together. So just do it.
I love it. You're right. Just do it, ladies. Because wouldn't you agree, Diane, that everybody's story is worth writing and reading and being remembered for?
It is. Everyone has a story to tell. I've always thought that, even as I was a kid writing poetry. I'm like, everyone has a story. Everyone can relate
Hmm.
in some way, shape, or form. It's just, do you get to share your story to the world? And you get to make that decision yourself.
Yes, agreed. So, for anybody who's thought about maybe sharing a story or not ready for the big 12 chapter book and would just love to share a small portion of their lives, please know that there's still space and there's still time to join us in the multi-author book. She leads from within, and it's all about women really leading their lives through our this thing called our intuition. That intuitiousness. And Diane, I think your book is already all filled, right? The book you're in, the multi-author book you're in, is that already filled?
It's filled, and I think
Okay.
they're starting publications very soon. So I'm actually super excited. I'm getting nervous at the same time because I'm like, "Ooh, I'm about to be out in the world." So,
Yes.
but I'm super excited. I can't wait because my next idea. I'm ready to get started on that too. So
Yes, and let me just say that the book you're going to be in is called, I just want to get it right because I don't want to not, um, Uncovering the Brave.
yes,
That one is the multi-author book you're in, and that is compiled of beautiful stories of the courage and the bravery women have stepped into to move forward in their lives or to get past some certain things. So there's going to be some really amazing, profound, inspiring stories in there as well, also being released by Elise Lee Publishing. So please go check that out. And then also from Lead Her Academy's multi-author book is She Leads from Within. Still some room for you. And we'd love to join you and we'd love to hear your story. And thank you so much, Diane, for being here and sharing with us your journey.
thank you for having me, and I really appreciate all the support.
Yay. Until next time, everyone. We'll see you soon. And then also in the comments, Diane will share her link so you can get to know her better so that when the book comes out, you'll know you've already have met her and know what she's about. Until next time, everyone. Bye.